My name's Ross. I'm 19 years old, and I'm from Colveston in Kent, little town, miles away from here. Um, yeah, but I'm currently living in London, in Brentford, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it now. It's a big jump to the city, completely different to where I was living before, back home, a little countryside town. So I think I've grown to definitely appreciate my family more now. I'm not at home. I feel like the distance between us has made me appreciate what they do for me. My parents are a huge part of my life, and my sister as well. And I didn't realize how much, especially my sister, has done for me in that sense, because she's your little annoying sister that you don't think does much for you, but actually you learn a lot about yourself um, through someone like that. And she's so generous and offers so much of her heart to me, and she's always said she's looked up to me, but it's interesting she won't know that I look up to her in the same way, because yeah, she's a younger sister, but I learn a lot from her. I felt like I haven't properly appreciated them until more recently, and as I've got it's actually as I've got more into sport that I've started to appreciate what they've truly done for me, and the way they brought me up is well. And we've all been all-round players at every single sport we've played, and that's like that runs thick in my DNA. I've been playing tennis since the age of 4, and that's not necessarily been something that's was straight away a sport for my parents, but it's something they've always wanted me to get into because they appreciated it at a later age, and they found their talent for it immediately because they were so skilled at other sport. But I feel like, yeah, sport has been huge to me, and the other sport that is big to me at the moment is my hockey, and I think I started playing hockey at quite a later age, but it was probably about 13 or something, 12, 13. Ever since I was young, I'd come and see my dad's games all the time, and I really sort of picked up the eye for the sport. And yeah, I am very injury prone, as you, yeah, especially through my sports. I've come off quite badly with a lot of the games I've played and things like that.
Ross takes a lot of chances, I think, sometimes with his physicality. I think these things worry us sometimes. But
I've broken many bones, and currently I'm sitting out of my hockey season with a ripped medial collateral ligament, meniscus tear, and a torn ACL. But things have been a lot worse for me in my life, which is quite sad to say, but I've experienced a lot of quite traumatic experiences. 2 years ago, actually, to this same sort of time, I experienced what was probably one of the most eye-opening times for me, which was a very difficult time when I was at one of my friend's parties, and I actually experienced a heart attack, which a lot of people probably wouldn't have expected from a kind of healthy looking young lad like me, but yeah, these things happen, and it was a very shocking blow to sort of my life, and it was very eye-opening in the sense that like, wow, like that kind of thing can just happen, and it can happen to anyone, but it happened to me. With this heart condition that I've attained, I've grown to appreciate the impact it has on individuals and family around them, and it's especially significant for young athletes like myself, and that's why I guess I've become more interested in this foundation that I've become quite close to, called CRY. It's called CRY, it's Cardiac Risk in the Young, and quite significant to me, and I've been quite close to a lot of their works. So about 3 weeks after passing my driver's test, I had probably one of the most terrifying experiences in my life, coming very close to death. And yeah, I'm scaring a lot of people in my life, and
I quickly thought, he's fine, and so I picked up his dad, and we rushed off to the scene. And on arriving at the scene, the road was closed. There were 2 fire engines, 2 ambulances, and as I approached Ross's actual car, we were let through. Ross was being held from the back. Somebody was nursing his head, and he was in a collar, and they were actually cutting the top of his car off. and my feet just buckled, and Ross is such a free spirit, and I just thought, whoa, you're not going to tie Ross down. His legs, if Ross's legs have always moved since he was a tiny, tiny little boy. His legs have never stopped gibbering and shuddering and running and wanting to run, and that's Ross. The essence of Ross is running free. And fortunately, the paramedic ran over to me and said, no, this is precautionary. We just need to make sure and assess that he hasn't had any serious back injury. We're going to stick him on a bodyboard and check him. He won't like it because he's going to be on that pinned for x-rays and everything for a while, but it is precaution. We think he's okay. He's got good movement. He's not crying out in pain and anything, and he has been so lucky. And he basically walked away from what was a very severe accident with...
I have a couple of scars on my wrist from, almost lost my whole arm, to be fair, but I had a couple of cracked ribs, but I came out of something
unscathed, and it could have been such a different story. And I think when that goes through a mother's mind and when you relive it and you think, gosh, that could have been so different.
He's a complete idiot at times. He gets himself into stupid situations. He's constantly hurting himself.
Always injured as well. He's always hurt in some way, that boy. He's always got cuts on his hands, or like a broken leg, or a sling on his arm, or... I think he's just very courageous, and that's why I said the word earlier, is because he just throws himself anything head on like a bull.
What I love about Ross is how me and Ross get on, and like relationships I think are very rare. Like when you meet somebody, like I know it sounds a little bit like I'm talking about a lover, and I'm not, but like when you meet somebody that you click with and you have like a really good relationship with, and it's like you vibe with them and you can just talk about freely, like it's like being in a room with no walls really. You can just talk about anything, and me and Ross are like that. Like the other week we went out somewhere, and I forgot my ID, so we had to come all the way home and spend about an hour and a half in just travelling there and back, and we just spoke about just the weirdest abstract stuff, and like it's just lovely. Yeah, it just fit really well together, like two cogs that just fit in perfect place. And I love that about Ross. And
Opportunist.
Generous.
Caring.
Enthusiastic.
Compassionate.
Very well worth knowing.
Optimism.
Courageous.
A positive take on things, and that they're going to work out alright in the end.
Generous.
Fearless.
Crazy. The caring.
Clumsy.
Outlandish. Invaluable. Selfless.
Passionate.
Funny, and a great person to have as a friend.
Caring.
Compassionate.
Professional.
He's an intrepid person, so that's wanting adventure.
Probably all of those words mixed in one.